I would like to share that this became a moment that I felt I could come back on just to kind of share a little word about what I'm doing here. And this, and it just so happened that the last video I recorded about sewing the walrus is uploading to YouTube as I record this one. So I've come on here just to kind of give you all a little further work, and this one here, it's been sewn along on several, like all the fins and the tusks and the muzzles were sewn onto this one before the video, the last one, and kind of did that on my own time. So I'm going to try to give you all a little show here of how we're going to continue the project. There's a place here where you kind of put the two backs of the muzzle together, and you will thread through it just like this, and once it's kind of gone through, you'll kind of make the line there again, sew the needle right through, make a little knot to come out on the other end, and kind of sew along the curve, the top of the nose, the top of the muzzle, just to kind of go a little ways about it, take care of little matters here. We're going to sew along on this and show how it all shall turn out in the end once we get a little more done with it all. And the little project we have, this little memorial walrus, there's been different pieces to be worked on at different stages. We don't know who among the kids is going to get the ones that were demonstrated in the video, but we are going to see how it goes along this way. And this is a time when we kind of get the work along just fine. We're going to kind of sew up here along the muzzle, up and go up to the top of the head here, and there's going to be little places here and little places there where it's going to go, where it's going to come along, make little things happen just like they need to be. Oh, the work that's involved in this. Oh, the time we put into things and how we go about things. It's just little work like this kind of helps me relax a little bit. Always love getting opportunities to come on here to demonstrate how I do things and just kind of let everybody see how it's going to turn out in the end. We know that there was one I showed previously. This is the one that I finished before I started kind of doing the video of it. You can kind of see where I've kind of got the initials in now, like I said last time around, and got the tusks and the muzzle in. And while we work on this one, there's many more things to share. I will kind of say that as I've come back, sewn up the muzzle, and am now sewing back down the muzzle, I'd like to share a little detail as to how this will all come along. And once we get through to it, there comes a moment when you get back down to the front of the muzzle, and we're going to kind of go through this, and we are going to, where the tusks have already been sewn on here, make a little place here where we go into the muzzle and through the other tusk to make sure that we get them fairly a bit together. We're going to make a few little loops into the place where the tusk has already been attached, just to make sure that it will all hold together once we get done with this. And I say that we're gonna sort of like take it up here and up through the top of the tusk and back the same way through the mouth again to go through to the other side here, and take care of this next little tusk here, take care of what it does. I say that this little project is making its way along to me, I say, and oh, the little bit of work that comes involved in this. I say that we will just come back up here again, and just to make sure we get it attached, go along here and sew just little ways up the muzzle and try to make sure that we attach it on very firm. And that's how it's going to go. Make the little knot in here and tie the end. It's just going to come out like just as simple as that. There's going to come the moment where along the next lines of the next thing you do is you will take the piece to the underside that has the other side of the tusks in it, and you will place it up here just like this and make a little line come along where you will put it in and kind of join these couple little pieces together here, where you will see that the part that is to the neck you kind of put to the part that is to the underside for the neck. And there will be this moment when you will take the black thread, which is personally good for this part, and you will kind of make a knot right about the middle of where the lines are connected, and make that little loop go in there and work along that little line. And I say that it'll shine like the darkness in the light. I say that the work shall come and it shall make itself in you. I say that this little work shall come and make its way to you. Probably got a good thread to use here, because we know that since this is a kind of like a place where the skin of the walrus, the part that makes that is black, so you kind of want to make threads that almost match the color of the fabric itself when you go wrong on things like this. So we've kind of made it pretty far and taken it to where the lines are going to be drawn, and we know that this work shall take its end. And I tell you, it just kind of gets surrounded by things a little bit. We kind of have to separate fabrics here sometimes. Kind of gets a little annoying and stuff, but we still have got to manage to do it. So we're gonna go through here up to the place where the tusk meets the muzzle and go right through that place, and we have a little place here where we can just make a little knot to come in and measure this little place out. So this is probably one of the most difficult little places on the project, but we manage it fine. We work well with it, and this little work we do shall manage its way to us. And so once we get through this place, we will sort of like come along this line here where we have already sewn the tusk and make a little knot or two there. Come along this place up here where we go to the muzzle, make a little loop or two up there, and we're going to come back, perhaps go to the other side of the tusk to make a little place there for just another little line. You're going to want to use a different color of thread when you go to sewing up the tusks, so that's going to be a different part of the project here. And as we go about it, just make sure that you get to the rest of the way where you come down the neck. And I'd say one thing you can also do while you're about that is, once you kind of finish sewing all those loops into there, there's always the possibility that you can kind of start towards the fin a little bit. You kind of want to still make sure when you go about this that you're going to get the fin in the right place, and you want to make sure that you get the back of the lower part of the fin to the outside and the back of the upper part of the fin to the outside, and make a little line to kind of connect the two here. And there's a place where you're gonna sew right here and come along here and kind of make the line go through the fin just like this. And then we kind of go on to the next part and start to sew along the outer part of the fin more to the front and take it a little bit of a further way, and this is where it's going to come along to make a little pattern show. I say that when it comes to this, we make the line like this. Oh, tell me about it. I could remember how it was when I was in kindergarten. Teacher would have us use these little cardboard patterns to trace onto paper and for different projects, and I tell you, as a kid, I couldn't always understand directions. Couldn't understand that glue didn't go on the pattern. Sometimes to hold the pattern down to the paper, I'd glue the pattern onto the paper. She'd have to tell me over and over again that glue didn't go on the patterns, so there'd be a little time here and there where instructions were just not always that clear. They were hard to comprehend, hard to recognize, but what I'm going to do here is try to do something I don't always do and come along here to the part where the fin is attached to the underside and kind of try to sew along that little line there and kind of make it so it'll just come out the proper right way, and we see little things just as they come and go and for what they do. And I say that we're going to come along on the work here and make this little line complete. Gonna brighten some souls and some days and go along just like that. I will say with this little walrus, probably going to demonstrate with one side of it what to do, and might even on a separate occasion maybe kind of do the other side as well. But this is something where I try to kind of take little demonstrations as they go, as they must come along, and I say that we're coming along on this as good as it needs to be. There's a place down here where you come along to this part of the fin and you attach the other part of the fin on there as well. This is going to be something that, you know, it'll be a little difficult to get it in the right place, but you'll kind of get it there eventually. In a place like this, the best thing to do is to tie the knot first and kind of try to go a little bit through here and to make this little place where the end of the fin on one side meets the other end, the part of the fin that is closer to the curved part and a little more to the place where you come close to the part that you leave open for the stuff hole. On this particular project, as I have gotten more experienced, I have started learning to leave tabs in the place where the stuff hole is going to be, because that way you will have tags that you can tuck in to sew it closed once it comes time to do that part. So we've kind of made a little line here, and I'm going to make my attachment right here to kind of work here, make the line come in, and I say that little work is like this. I say that time shall come when we shall brighten little days with what we do. try to kind of sew along here, along the end of this fin, and try to make it so it's not going to come out too far or too easily. And there's a place here where we come along this work and make this little line here, and then we kind of will do the rest of the fin as we go, but it is best to kind of do all the parts as separately as you can. And right now we've kind of already done this much of the fin going in and out just like that. There's probably going to be a moment when I'm going to get all this together at a time when I'm not on camera and try to show just a little bit more of how we're going to take this along a little further. And this is the place where we're going to tie the knot at the fin's end. We're going to try to work along here. Got little places here where we've kind of come a little bit more now to the center here, and come along this line and make it a little simpler as it comes, and make the little knot right about to the middle of the fin, and show a little ways how this must go. So we've kind of made that line here, made it there, and shown how it comes along. We've gotten to the point where the thread is getting a little too thin to work with. So we have to remove it from the needle. Turns out there kind of seems to be another needle attached already, but we're going to get around to that part now. We're going to get it in and kind of go up and down the fin here and kind of try to sew the little knot through, make it go right through the denim, and make the next line come along just as freely as this. I say that this is a little project that requires you to have some stronger hands. Stronger hands will do it. It will kind of show you so much more and make you capable of so much more. And we're kind of sewing along this line here, kind of coming to the next place where we get further up and get to where all the stitching has already been done, and we're going to get closer up to the edge, almost to the top, like sewing or climbing to the top of Mount Everest maybe, and kind of make the little line as it goes and come along here. You can see where it's already been sewn in here, but we're going to go along that line where a little work of stitchery has already been done, kind of like we're going to come back around, get it all back in its own place, kind of try to take it so it broadens the scope of our imaginations here. And as we come along, we're going to see things differently, view them from a whole different angle, and see what it's all going to be. Because right about this time, we get along these lines and make it so it shall in the end come out a little closer to perfect. So we know that some of these things are essential to do before you get around to the tusks. We're going to get around to that part eventually. There's going to be some time I'm going to get away and do the rest of this for a while and come back and take care of that little part myself. So and it can be a little less fun when you're kind of doing this alone and not really demonstrating, not really showing what you're doing, but this is how it shall turn. We are getting closer to the other end where the stitchery has already been done. We're going to take out the little lines and take out the little work, come along on this and show just how bright and shiny things can be. This will be the justice of a good cause, and I've already been paid very well for this. I've already been paid very good for this work. So I'm just trying to make sure that I kind of give the lady what she paid for. So that's how we're working along on this. That's how it's going to come. That's how it's going to be. And you know, as you get older, you realize when somebody's paying you, they're not paying you just to do effort. They're paying you to do a good job. So I'd say we've come along this far, and think while I am at it, I might go ahead and try to sew on a certain part of the tail here, try to make it come cute and cool and make it get all good and make it all just bright as it needs to be. Oh, work shall come and it shall make all the best of us all. I think I'm going to try to, even though it does make the video a little longer, work along this tail here. I do think I have actually gotten to the point where the thread has gotten a little short again, so it wouldn't be normal to do this while you're working on the tail, but we're probably going to have to sew it in parts here, so you can kind of bear with me on that. Make sure we kind of get the work to come along as good as it needs to be, the way it needs to be, and see how good everything shall just kind of try to turn itself out here. So by now we're getting to the point where we've gotten pretty far into this, and then it's going to come to the point where we're going to get back to the center of the tail here, and we're going to try to work a little more ways about this. We're just about to kind of make another knot here at the end, make it come out the way it ought to be, and I say that this little work shall make its way to us, and this little time in our lives, it shall all be for the good and for the better, and taking the time just to kind of shine it all right. I think I'm going to try to kind of make my little way along the stuff hole here, try to make that knot right there, This video is going to end up being a little longer than it was intended to be, but there's been quite a few steps to go about this and taking it to the level where we need to take it. So I say that this little line here, we're going to go about this and take care of these little matters as good as they ought to be, and finally we're going to get around to tying the last knot here and try to get it just about to where we need it to be. So I will say that what you'd normally do when you're sewing the tail is you'd kind of actually use a little bit of a longer piece of thread than what I had here, and you'd just sew out the whole thing. But this was something where, you know, like I say, the thread was short to begin with, so I'm going to tie another little knot here and kind of go where I can sort of, like, let's say maybe start a little more to the middle and find my ways up and down with this. We kind of made the line just like this, and little pointy thread, pointy needle. It goes its own way, and it's going to kind of make the light come through. And you can kind of also sometimes do the tail the same way you do the fin. Just kind of sew along this other line here. You're going to kind of do the same with the other side once you get around to it. But it's kind of the same with the tail as it is with the fin. You just kind of work on the sides one at a time, and then you're going to join them together from the back once you get them done. So this is a time when we're going to work along here, work alongside of this, and this little level of mine, it's just a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of space and a lot of ways we must go. And I say that we're going to kind of finish this way, go up to the other direction. Apparently this needle and thread are not cooperating. It just came undone from the needle, so we're going to have to try to kind of put it through here again, take care of the matter again, and we're going to have to tie the knot around the thread once we get it through the eye of the needle again. And I can tell you all that I've just learned by my experiences how to fool with this and keep fooling with it until it finally actually works, until it finally actually goes, and then we're going to finally try to get it the rest of the way in. And I say, like, go the same way back down the end of the tail closer to the stuff hole, and go the rest of the way up to the middle. Once we get to the middle, we're going to kind of go to the inside part that's closer to the back. We're going to line along that, and there's going to be a way to do this sooner or later. I say I'm getting a longer video than I intended to have, and it keeps getting longer and longer. The more things keep refusing to cooperate here, but I say we're just about to be done here, so not too much longer till we can get this the rest of the way. Finally got to the other side of the stitching, so we can kind of go back and turn back around, go back again to the place where we started, get it all finished and done the rest of the way, and I say again, I'm getting tired of this knot in the thread and the needle and the eye always coming undone, but we've only got a few more stitches to go and we're going to be done along on this. So I say there's going to be a little more to say in the next videos, but as we know, we're going to come along here, take it a little further, and now we are just about to get to the very end. So we are almost done here. We're about to have it finished. We're about to have the project out of our way. And finally, that's it. We finally got through with it all. So I've already gone over 36 minutes now, so it's time to say goodbye and end this video.